dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome my dear students. The last, two lessons we have been talking about the ecology and ecosystem. In our last lesson, we talked about the food chains and food webs. We said food chain shows us what in a community, and also it shows us the flow of energy, because we learned that energy is neither created nor destroyed, but it can be converted from one form of energy into another one. Food chain only shows us that one organism in the community feeds on another organism. It cannot show us that one organism can get its food from different sources of in the habitat, which is wrong really. So to get more information about the food chain, we produced a food web, which is the interconnection of many food chains. Today we're going to talk about what's called ecological pyramids. A pyramid is another form of writing food chain. It's another form of writing food chain. It helps us get more idea about the food chain itself. Ecological pyramids are graphical representations. We are going to draw, and graphs, especially by using bar graphs. When we are going to use draw a pyramid, we usually use blocks. We usually use a rectangular blocks. I'm going to give you two tricks which you need to keep in mind when you are drawing a pyramid. The block is a rectangular. Please don't make the block a triangular or circular or square, any other form. Make it please a rectangular. And keep in mind the area of the rectangle. The area of the rectangle represents the number of organisms in that particular trophic level, in that particular feeding level. So we know that this is the width and this is the length. So the area of the triangular is found width times length. So if, for example, if you have here, for example, 50, and here you have, say, 100, if you are asking how many organisms are there in that particular trophic level, simply calculate the area of the rectangle, which means 50 times 100 equals, I think, it is 5,000. So you can see here there are 5,000 rabbits. So when you are going to draw the pyramid, remember please that we're using squares, and rectangulars. It is a graphical representation which shows us, number one, the number of individuals present in that trophic level. Number two, the biomass synthesized. I think in our previous lessons we learned the word biomass. A biomass is the total dry weight of an organism. So the ecological pyramids can also show us a biomass of the organisms, and also it can show us amount of energy at a successive trophic levels in an ecosystem. So from this definition, we can just find the types of pyramids, which can be three: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. Ecological pyramids are starting with producers. Since this is another way of writing a food chain, remember please, food chains are starting from producers, then the successive consumers, like primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Just like that, the pyramids are starting with the producers at the base. So when you are going to draw a pyramid, remember this is the producers. This is the producers, and from here, then you add the other consumers like primary consumer and then secondary consumer and so on, please. So the bottom rectangle represents the producers, and successive trophic level is forming the apex is known as the ecological pyramid. So this is the bottom is the producer, and the successive trophic levels are formed at the apex. Okay, a pyramid of number. This is a graphical representation which shows us the number of organisms in different trophic levels, per unit area of an ecosystem. If you want to know how many organisms is present at that particular trophic level, you need to draw the pyramid of number. For example, if you have here a grass, here we have a grass, then which is eaten by a rabbit, and then which is eaten by a fox. When food chain is written like this, you cannot find out how many rabbits here, how many foxes are in this trophic level. So if you want to know the number, if you want to estimate the number of the rabbits in this food chain, then what you need is to draw a pyramid. As I told you before, this is a rabbit, for example. So if you want to know the number here, what are you going to do? Yes, thank you very much. You need just to calculate the area of the rectangle at that trophic level. That gives you the number of rabbits in that. So this ecological pyramid of number shows us the number of organisms at each feeding level. Okay, it's usually upright. What do we mean by upright? What do we mean upright? We mean like this. It's usually upright. That means the producers have the largest block, and then the successive consumers the next, and so on. As you go up, the block becomes smaller, please. So this is an upright food chain. So usually they are upright, but sometimes they become inverted, please. They become inverted, which means completely like this, or it can be something like this. So we will see it. Sometimes it can be, you can see a pyramid like this, and this is happiness only when we have a parasitic food chain or tree ecosystem food chain, please. When they either there are some parasites in the food chain, or when the producer is big and the consumers are smaller than the producer. Okay, in most ecosystems, the number of individuals is generally maximum at the producer level, please. Maximum at the producer level. So that's why I'm saying the producers have the largest block. The number of herbivores is lesser than the number of producers, and the number of carnivores are lesser than the number of herbivores. So if you see this, the producers have the largest flock, then the herbivorous have a smaller flock than the compared to the producer, but larger than the carnivores. It's simply like this. Here you have many plants. Producer are too many. You see it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The producers you see 3 and line. So as you go up, the number of decreases. Here you have an upright, inverted pyramid of number. This is a parasitic food chain. Parasitic food chain. The 3 bits, lice, fleas, and so on. It's a parasitic food chain. So this is what we mean inverted. And here you have another inverted type of pyramid of number. This is a tree ecosystem. You can see here you have a tree. Like for example, we may have a mango tree. A mango tree can feed a number of monkeys, and then filly. So this is very large. It can feed a number of, but this is one. Remember, please, one mango tree can feed, for example, around 100 monkeys, because 100 monkeys can feed more than, may say, 1,000 fleas. So you see, as the size decreases, the number of organisms increases. So if your the producer is large compared to the consumers, then what happens is like an inverted food chain. So as the size of the organism decreases, the number increases. As the size of the organism increases, the number decreases. So if you have here, for example, grass, and then the next one is rabbit, you see the rabbit is bigger than the grass, and then the fox is bigger than the rabbit, so you get an upright, a pyramid of number. So inshallah we will continue from here. Thank you very much, my dear